Well, hello there, good people. Jason here with Green Country Agroforestry. We are starting the day out here inside where we brought our cherry tomato plant in. This is a Chadwick cherry tomato. As I anticipated, yes indeed, we did have a little bit of damage. Some of the, see, this is actually a bit with fruit on it. We're going to go ahead and let it, see if it can ripen up a bit. Had a little bit of damage. Didn't expect everything to survive. So now we're just going to go ahead and trim off the dead bits. There we go. Get that cleaned up. Hello, Betty. You see we got a little fresh growth already starting in some places. So the plant's accommodating. I realize that it suffered some trauma. We'll just help it out a little bit by getting rid of some of this dead stuff. Get that cleared up real quick. All right. So far, so good, by golly. All right. I think we're doing all right. So we got a bit of debris that we trimmed off, and our tomato is sitting here nice and pretty. We can give her a little rotation so we can get some light on those fruits that are on the far side there. And of course, this gives me an opportunity to go ahead and start harvesting a couple of them that are ready here. This one there, that. Nice. This is almost ripe. We'll finish ripening it up on the counter. That. A couple down here are already ripened up all the way. Pull it off before it falls off, right? There we go. And another one. And another one. Look at that. We've got tomatoes. We've got tomatoes, and the tomatoes are ripening in, well, I guess this is early fall. They're ripening here indoors. We've managed to salvage this tomato plant. Got a couple more things I can pull off there. And now we can just keep on harvesting our tomatoes on into the winter. So if you got a sunny spot where you can dedicate a plant just like this, then well, this is what you can expect to be doing throughout the winter months, picking fresh tomatoes. And enjoying them on the spot. Or adding them to your salads. Or anything else you use fresh tomatoes for. Alright, now regular maintenance twice a day, because you don't get dew whenever your plant's growing indoors. You want to take a mister of some sort, and that can be a device like I got here. Pardon me, I'm just going to pinch this dead bit out. Or you can use one of those squeeze misters, but all you have got to do is start out down here low and give your leaves just a little misting of moisture. You want to do this twice a day. Do it in the morning and do it in the evening. Just a little mist. All right. That's going to be just fine. so that mist will cling on your plant. But it won't be enough to contribute to mildew and mold. And now what we're going to do is take a look down here at the bottom where you got a little bit of water down there. We're going to add a little bit more. And if you've got a bowl of water out for dogs, cats, stuff like that, that's a key. You can empty out your excess that way on a daily basis. Let me get that excess out of there. And that'll keep your soil nice and moist, keep the creepy crawlies out, and let you enjoy your tomato throughout the winter. Did you hear that, bush cricket? It's just carrying on like it doesn't know winter's here. Alright, here we go. I've got a bit of peat moss right here. I'm going to go ahead and just drop a bit of peat moss into the bottom of this too. That's enough peat moss, I think. You don't need to use it all at once either. Grab our flat bottom bucket here. Let's go ahead and scoop up a good portion of it. There we go. This is dry peat moss. Whew. Dry and dusty, don't breathe that stuff in. Alright. Now, might want to moisten this up a little bit before we get started. Just a touch. It's a good thing we got a nice bright sunshiny day. Alright. I'm just going to use the mist setting on the hose here. Nice bright sunshiny day. We can get the water running, and of course I can shut it off and drain the hoses before it gets cold again tonight. Just mist that down until it's got some standing water on the top. Don't need any more than that. We're just going to let that settle and it'll soak on in. Now, one of the mistakes I made the first time I did this was putting too much moistened peat moss in there, and you don't really need all that much. You just need enough that your roots don't dry out and turn up into shriveled little prunes and die. Oh, we'll have a look at these. We've got them out there for at least 24 hours now. There's the cut in. There's one. Massive root structure here. Look at this thing. It's huge. Just huge. There we go. There's another one. And another. And another. I'm just going to pack these in. Look at these massive roots. Right, pack these in here. This one I might have broken again before putting it in. So as the winter goes on, this bottom layer of peat moss is going to absorb the rest of that moisture, and then as we put more on the top, that'll just keep it locked in. This is all roots that don't have cuts from where they're separated from the stems. This is one where we cut it. You can see where the stem was attached. This one's almost cured. Not too bad. Here's another piece. You can see how the moisture out of the stem, it almost looks concave there where it's pulled back in from just being out there curing in the air for a day. And you really want this to cure good, because too much moisture and your tuber rots. See, there's a break. It's pretty well cured here. If you go and you discover that the ends are turning squishy, that means they've been frost damaged. If they've been frost damaged, they'll rot. So make sure you don't have frost damaged rhizomes going into your storage. One or two rotting away you can live with, but if it gets to be where you've got a bunch of them going bad, a few bad ones can spoil your entire patch. As always, because we don't want to leave bare ground, we're going to take a mixture of buckwheat and daikon radish and some good old-fashioned Alaska early peas. We're just going to get some of these seeds sprinkled around here. Wound up with a few extra. Now the point of putting in daikon radish and buckwheat this late is not to grow daikon radishes, it's not to grow buckwheat, it's to grow something. See, the buckwheat is going to be able to sprout and grow at lower temperatures, as are these peas. We're going to throw in a few more peas. Now the peas are going to be able to sprout and grow at temperatures between 35 and 45 degrees. We're going to have plenty of those temperatures over the next couple of weeks. But again, the real purpose for planting these things is not to grow the crop, but to keep the soil living and healthy. Well, ultimately the goal of the daikon radish is to rot. It's a good probability we'll get enough to develop in this size that we can harvest them and add them to salads and use the greens for salad greens, along with our tomatoes that we've got coming up indoors. But you see, that great big old taproot goes deep down into the ground, about 14, 16 inches or so. It rots away. It draws in organic matter into the soil in a way that I just couldn't possibly do with top dressing. And so if you'll indulge me for just a minute, we'll go ahead and get all this roughed in good. Make sure everything's got good soil contact. Hey, Golly, what's that? Oh, that's a castor bean seed. Okay, we're fine. It looked a bit odd. All right. Now when we get a little bit of moisture, instead of being exposed and oxidizing and wasting away, we'll be developing the ground cover here. And it'll grow into the winter months. And come springtime, well,
area should be ready to be planted up again. Now, I'm going to experiment here. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm just letting you know that in addition to everything else, I think I'm going to throw out a little bit of winter wheat. I know it's very, very late. So late, in fact, that it's not going to be at all serious. Sorry. It's not going to be in any way a serious attempt at growing wheat, being so late in the season. However, the weather holds and it germinates, and that's additional ground cover that we can top kill come spring. We're starting to plant other things in. Although I think this area here under the tree, we're just going to leave that for strawberries and not disturb the soil here anymore. We're going to leave this one. Yep. So what we're using today is, well, organic grass seed for pets. It's a blend of rye, barley, wheat, mostly wheat. Oh, there's some oats in here too. Anyway, all of these grains can be sprouted and grown into the winter. And then typically, the seed head's harvested in midsummer or early summer. We're just going to let them sprout and grow as a winter cover crop, and we'll just kill it off come springtime. But that means instead of having a brown patch, we're going to have a green patch. There we go. Well, folks, that's about all I got for you today. You've been watching Green Country Agroforestry. If you found today's video informative, entertaining, maybe a little bit of both, you know what to do. Now get out there and get growing.